All right, guys, here we're back in complete darkness. Now, we always talk about the hawk, but we had a bit of an upset today. I do have my mate here with me.
Great to be here. Great to be here, mate. I talk about the hawk all night long. I love the hawk.
All right.
Amazing bike.
Well, we're going to talk about the hawk here, but we're also going to talk about something that's very near and dear to us. I said we had an upset, perhaps. Today, we intended to do a little fishing episode, and I had several fish on the line, guys, but what happened, the rain started, and it became inclement weather, and frankly, guys, that's not good for the hawk. And we kind of made tracks for home. So we decided, let's not make it a total waste. Let's keep going and talk about something else that we've discussed. Me and my really one of my best mates have had talks about for years, and that is Bigfoot and Sasquatch or Yeti. This is something that's kind of near and dear to our hearts. Talking about the science, the possibilities, and the potential of a giant ape being potentially alive.
He could be around us at this very moment.
Right, in North America. Now, of course, everyone knows this would be very hard to prove. It's certainly thus far been very hard to prove, but it doesn't mean it isn't possible. Now, there was an animal in North America called Gigantapithicus. Now, this was a very large ape, and they have found skeletal remains of this creature. It's just a large gorilla, really, and there's certainly scientific evidence that it existed on the North American continent thousands of years ago. So when I think of Bigfoot in particular, myself, I really think about the potential that Gigantapithicus, or this large North American ape, actually still has a remnant. Not something so fanciful as necessarily what we would call a Yeti or Sasquatch. Don't
he might
think
have a family.
Right.
There could be others.
Right.
Smaller ones, larger ones. Perhaps they travel in packs.
Right. Where the thing to keep in mind is it needn't be anything so fanciful as a Sasquatch, a Bigfoot, something that is kind of hard to understand, and you're kind of having to stretch your imagination. These things existed. Gigantapithecus existed in North America in a very real way not so long ago. What we're talking about is the potential for a large mammal, ape-like mammal, to continue to exist in this country. Now, just south of here, the Bigfoot Hunters, or whatever that show was that was on A&E or one of those, TLC or something, they talked about in Moose Lake, Minnesota, a Bigfoot rising up and looking through a trailer window, like a single wide, like a trailer home, and it was somewhat compelling. And again, I'm not saying that there are Bigfoot out here, but I think we need to demystify the conversation and talk about, is it possible that potentially there could be what do you call
Missing link, perhaps?
missing link? What do you call the opposite of an ancestor? A current, whatever, of a Bigfoot right here. Is it possible?
Absolutely, is possible.
In the sense of like a Gigantapithicus offspring. That's certainly possible that some of them are still around. Now, I don't want to speak to anything that's happened near here, and then we're walking in the woods where there may supposedly be. We're in my driveway tonight, northern Minnesota, kind of the Arrowhead region, sparsely populated, very wooded, and I guess things could go unnoticed here, but I think that the rainforest type area in the Pacific Northwest, where most of these sightings had supposedly occurred, may very well be the most likely place that a Gigantapithecus or Bigfoot type creature could exist undetected. Very steep slopes. It would take a very woolen coat to survive out there. And I just think it's worth noting that if it's possible at all, it would seem that a temperature that stayed above freezing but was very dense and hard to penetrate might be in order for the
I heard he likes the swampy regions.
oh no, look at this. Now, earlier today, and you guys who have known me know that, look at that. That's Timberwolf shit. Now, we've talked about this before. I think there's a little further. This is now the third episode where this has come up. And doesn't look like all of it's crushed. But out on the Eiger, it's possible me best mate, give me a hand.
Great to be here, man. Bigfoot is an amazing creature.
Yeah, but apart from that, he may have crushed some of our samples, but they're still in fairly good condition, and we'll keep an eye on those throughout the summer. But I think it's worth noting that Gigantapithecus or an offspring or
I heard it smells terrible.
Yeah, some hereditary descendant of that is possible. And my mate has given this a lot of thought. We've talked about this for years and years, about the potential of a Bigfoot. And again, I'd like to de-romanticize it a bit by talking about it as Gigantapithecus, something that we know existed on the North American continent. I don't expect to see any tonight, but mate, did you have any thoughts that you'd like to share here? I'd like to get your thoughts on.
People are looking for evidence to support the existence of such a large creature, and there are ways to do that by examining the surroundings. And what you will find is excrement, hair samples, and footprints. And you will find eyewitness testimony saying that if you'd like to camp in the area where a Bigfoot is normally found, you will likely be pelted by rocks, whereas he is not happy to have people in his vicinity. So Bigfoot, I would find, is a creature that likes to stay away from human presence, and he will actively seek to eliminate your infraction upon his turf, so to speak,